hour, new details surrounding the coronavirus pandemic emerge. We are committed to keeping you informed.
Yeah. This morning, we have a lot to get to that includes information surrounding jobs, ways to fight the virus, and what one Charlotte City leader thinks about reopening businesses here. So let's get to the latest right now. Governor Roy Cooper says that he will sign an executive order that will help workers who have been furloughed during the crisis. Right now, some of those furloughed workers cannot file for unemployment. That's all changed now. The governor says those people now qualify for the benefits. To add to that, other self-employed North Carolina residents who have lost work due to stay-at-home orders will be able to apply for federal benefits starting on Friday. And get this, researchers now say that the malaria drug hydroxychloroquine was not effective in keeping COVID-19 patients off of ventilators or even alive, for that matter. According to a government-funded study, patients taking the drug actually had higher death rates compared to those who did not take it. The study involved patients at a VA hospital. It is very important to note here, the study has not been peer-reviewed or published in a medical journal. And in Charlotte, at least one city leader now calling for our economy to open up slowly but soon. Councilman Tark Bakari spoke on recent protests in Raleigh. He says while he does disagree with the demonstrations, he does think that Charlotte leaders should be talking about what it's going to take to put customers back into bars, restaurants, and stores. All right, let's send it over to reporter Anthony Costura standing by live for us this morning.
That's right. Anthony has been looking into the issue. This is really the first time that we are hearing from a local leader about accelerating a reopening there. We're going to get to Anthony a little bit later, but here's what we learned. Councilman Tark Bakari says that he would like state leaders to start crafting guidelines for businesses to slowly reopen. He believes there is a way to open the doors while also keeping people safe. Now, we have countless examples of local businesses all struggling to stay afloat, and Councilman Tark Bakari again says that if restaurants reduce their capacity, spread out tables, and implement 6-foot markers for people in line, then businesses like Old Mecklenburg Brewery can have a fighting chance. The brewery's owner made his argument yesterday on Bakari's podcast.
I can control the number of people that come into my establishment. I can control the number of people that enter my beer garden. I can control how many people get in line at my beer hut to order a beer and how far apart they stand, just like they're doing at the grocery store and just like they're doing at Walgreens.
It is time to reopen business, and it's time to do so in a thoughtful but fast and nimble fashion.
Now, their argument now comes on the heels of a new economic prediction from Wells Fargo. The bank estimates that the Charlotte Metro will lose 159,000 jobs this year, and as many as 426,000 jobs may be lost in North Carolina in 2020. And while the impact is very real economically, we asked people who recovered from COVID-19. They say it is just too soon. Judge Donnie Hoover and his wife spent more than a month in quarantine after they tested positive, and Raven McGregor, she's just 27 with no underlying health issues, and she caught the virus. It sidelined her for 3 weeks. They believe that if conditions are relaxed, it will result in more infections and deaths.
I was really sick to the point where I felt like maybe I could die, and I could have died.
I don't think people understand the gravity of this virus.
Experiencing testing limitations and PPE shortages. The health director says it is unlikely that they will relax the restrictions. Right now, those are in place for another week.
It is 5:04 right now, and Gaston County commissioners announced that they are working on some plans to reopen businesses as soon as next week. The chairman said businesses like barbershops and salons are likely options to open back up when the governor's stay-at-home orders ends in about 8 days now. He said they will follow the data on COVID-19 cases for a gradual reopening, and told us the county has 120 cases and 100 of them have already recovered.
We can protect their citizens and help people get back to work. And I believe you can do both. I don't want to jeopardize anyone's health.
He said they will shut down businesses if those numbers end up spiking. Now, we told you that South Carolina has already started reopening some businesses as long as they control the social distancing. That includes department stores, craft stores, flea markets, and florists. Now, as far as neighboring states go, South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham criticized Georgia, saying that state is, quote, going too fast, too soon. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp announced plans this week to allow hair salons, gyms, even tattoo parlors to open back up on Friday. Also, by Friday, Tennessee will reopen most of its state parks, with some businesses opening there next week.
And coronavirus cases are growing in the Carolinas, but not as drastically as they were before. Of more than 42,000 tests in South Carolina, there are just over 4,600 confirmed cases this morning. And North Carolina has had almost double that number of tests. Of 83,000 tests, there are less than 7,000 cases in the state this morning. Atrium Health doctors say that they are noticing that people with serious health issues are afraid to come to the hospital for help. Doctors said that they have noticed a drop in heart attack and stroke patients, and they don't believe that people are suffering any less. Several patients have said that they are worried about contracting coronavirus. Atrium says that it's gone to great lengths to treat all of its patients safely.
We have physicians and medics and nurses who've worked in Syria under chemical gas attacks, and they bring all this expertise to help augment our teams to make sure that we are able to always provide the highest level of care to our patients no matter what's going on.
Atrium says that it's going to use triage tents and drive-through testing, for example, to help keep COVID patients separate from other people who need a doctor's attention. And right now, when you shop for groceries, you can either go inside and pick up your food.
Yeah. But there's a new push to change that because thousands of workers are now getting sick. The group Target Workers Unite is calling for a mass sick out, protesting customer behavior, which they say includes occupying stores out of, quote, boredom and for fun. At least 3,000 grocery workers now showing coronavirus symptoms. They say people are just not wearing masks or limiting their trips to the store. The union representing those workers says that 85% of members report customers are not social distancing. Workers at several local stores are now required to wear masks. The latest one, Harris Teeter, yesterday told all the employees at their stores, their distribution center, as well as their facilities to wear masks or face coverings. We told you on Monday the same applies to Walmart, Sam's Club, and Publix. Call out from their jobs this week. They want safer working conditions so they don't catch COVID-19. USA Today reports that hundreds of them had planned to call out starting yesterday. So we went ahead, reached out to Amazon. It told us there are no actions that are planned in the Charlotte area. Amazon says that it's providing masks, raising pay, and hiring more workers, trying to reduce the spread. At least 7 workers at Charlotte area Amazon sites have tested positive. All right, 5:08 right now. 101 years old. That is certainly something worth celebrating.
Oh, yeah, and a big birthday surprise yesterday for a woman in Morganton.
Happy birthday!
Bea Chapman's family saying happy birthday outside of her assisted living center yesterday. Bea was born in 1919 and grew up in Burke County. She lived on her own until she was 100. Because of COVID-19, though, you can see her family had to stay outside, but hey, they still pulled off a pretty nice surprise.
Oh, it's just to encourage her with her being confined to the facility and to the rooms.
Family members were also able to talk to Bea on the phone right outside of her bedroom, and so much about this is impressive. She lived on her own until she was 100,
Yeah.
And the fact that they were able
Amazing.
to get the signs out there, yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah,